Have you ever wondered what really separates people who succeed from everyone else? Is it just raw talent, some kind of lucky break? Well, according to the incredible research by Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck, the answer is way simpler and honestly a lot more powerful. It's all about a single belief we hold about ourselves that can literally shape our entire reality. And today, we're going to dive deep into that one huge idea from her book, Mindset.
So let's just start with a question that gets right to the heart of it all, okay? What if? What if you stopped thinking about your skills as things you're just born with, and instead you saw your greatest talent as your ability to learn and improve? I mean, think about that for a second. That's not just some nice-sounding quote. It's a total shift in how you see everything.
And this is the core concept Dweck gives us, the mindset. It has nothing to do with how smart you are or how good you are at something right now. It's all about what you believe about where that intelligence and talent come from. Do you think it's all just carved in stone from day one, or do you believe it's something you can build on? That one little belief, that's the fork in the road.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to get into the main idea. Then we'll unpack the two different mindsets, the fixed one and the growth one. After that, we'll look at how this stuff actually shows up in the real world, at work, in sports, even in our relationships. And finally, we'll get to the most important part, how you can actually start to change your own mindset.
So after decades of research, Dweck found that pretty much all of us lean towards one of two camps. And these aren't just little personality quirks. Nope. They're two totally different belief systems that create two completely different worlds to live in. One world leads to a life full of judgment and fear, while the other, that one leads to a life of growth and resilience.
Let's talk about the first one, the fixed mindset. This is basically the belief that your qualities are just fixed. You've got a certain amount of smarts, a certain kind of personality, and that's pretty much the hand you were dealt. So in this world, the whole game becomes about proving that you have enough of the right stuff.
And this quote from the book, man, it just perfectly captures that voice in your head when you have a fixed mindset. See, every single situation becomes a test. Am I going to succeed or fail? Am I going to look smart or am I going to look dumb? And if you fail, it doesn't just feel like a setback. It feels like a final verdict on who you are.
You can see how this leads to a really limiting way of living. If your talent is fixed, your number one goal is to look smart at all costs. So you start dodging challenges, because what if they show you're not as smart as you thought? Effort becomes a bad thing. I mean, if you were a real natural, you wouldn't have to try so hard, right? And failure? Well, failure becomes catastrophic. It means you are a failure. Period.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. The book tells the heartbreaking story of Bernard Loiseau, this legendary French chef. I mean, the guy had everything, a 3-star Michelin restaurant, a business empire, but when a rumor started that he might lose one of his stars, just a rumor, his whole identity as a genius felt like it was crumbling. For him, the idea of failure wasn't a chance to learn, it was the end of the world. His fixed mindset made him incredibly fragile.
But, okay, here's the good news. There is another way to live, and it's built on a completely different idea, the growth mindset. This is the belief that your qualities aren't fixed at all. They're things you can grow and develop through effort. Yeah, sure, people start with different talents, but the key belief here is that anyone can get better through dedication and hard work.
This quote comes from Patricia Miranda, an Olympic wrestler whose story is in the book. After her mother passed away unexpectedly, this became her motto. It's the exact opposite of the fixed mindset's fear of challenges, right? It's about actively looking for the hard stuff, because that's where the growth is.
Now, Miranda was not a natural, not at all. After a really bad defeat, someone actually told her she was a joke. Now, in a fixed mindset, that's game over. But for her, it was just the beginning. She used that failure as fuel, deciding to just see how far pure dedication could take her. And you know what? It took her all the way to an Olympic bronze medal and then to Yale Law School.
So let's just put these two side by side, because this is where it all clicks. In the fixed mindset world, challenges, effort, criticism, they're all threats, things to avoid. But in the growth mindset world, they're the tools you use to get better. Challenges are for stretching yourself. Effort is how you achieve mastery. And failure, it's just a lesson. It's the same world, but two totally, profoundly different ways of living in it.
Okay, so we've got the theory down. But where does this stuff actually show up? Well, the book makes it super clear that this isn't just about grades in school. It shapes the biggest parts of our lives, our careers, our passions, and yeah, even our closest relationships.
In business, a fixed mindset creates what Dweck calls a culture of genius. Think of Enron. They hired people based on this idea of natural talent. This created the place where everyone had to act like they were genius, hide all their mistakes, and blame other people. And we all know how that story ended. Now contrast that with Lou Gerstner when he took over a failing IBM. He built a growth mindset culture. He encouraged teamwork and admitted he didn't have all the answers. The focus was on learning, and it led to one of the biggest corporate turnarounds ever.
Oh man, this one is huge. The fixed mindset brings this really dangerous idea into our relationships. This belief that if it's meant to be, it should be easy, effortless. So if you and your partner have to work through problems, the fixed mindset immediately thinks, well, I guess we're just not compatible. Conflict feels like proof that the relationship is flawed.
But the growth mindset, it sees relationships for what they really are, a journey of two people trying to grow together. It understands that all good relationships take work. Problems aren't a sign that it's all doomed. They're a chance to understand each other better and deepen the connection. Working through the hard stuff is literally what builds a strong partnership.
So at this point, you might be recognizing a little bit of that fixed mindset thinking in yourself. And if you are, that's totally okay. Because here is the single best piece of news in the entire book. Your mindset is not itself fixed. You can absolutely change it. And this is where the book gets super practical. Let's look at the first few steps.
Dweck gives us a really clear process. Step 1, just start paying attention. When does that judgmental voice pop up? Is it when you're facing a huge challenge? When someone gives you feedback? Just notice what triggers it. Step 2 is kind of fun. Give that fixed mindset voice a name. Seriously. And then, step 3, you start to talk back to it. You educate that persona with a growth mindset point of view.
Now, there's a real psychological trick to naming that persona. When you call that critical voice, say, Gertrude, you're separating it from who you really are. It's no longer me feeling like a loser, it's just Gertrude being dramatic again. It's a simple thing, but it gives you just enough space to observe the thought without getting swept away by it. You can literally say, hey, thanks for sharing, Gertrude, but I'm going to try this anyway and just see what I can learn.
And this quote by the leadership expert Warren Bennis really just sums it all up, doesn't it? Greatness isn't something that's just handed to a few lucky people. It's built. It's the result of effort, of learning from failure, of embracing challenges, everything that growth mindset is about. It's a choice we get to make every single day.
And that brings us to the final, powerful question posed in the book by the tennis legend Billie Jean King. When you look back on your life one day, what do you want to say? Do you want to be sitting there thinking about what you could have been? Or do you want to be able to say, for the things that really mattered to you, you know what? I gave it everything I had. I learned, I grew, I left it all out on the field. The choice, as Dweck shows us, really does start with your mindset.
Look, we have only just scratched the surface today. We've gone over the basic idea, but the book itself is just packed with so many more powerful stories, more research, and really specific strategies for how to use these ideas with your kids, in your job, and in your own life. It is honestly a user's manual for unlocking your own potential.
So, if any of this sparks something in you, I cannot recommend the book enough. You can grab a copy of Mindset using the link right down in the description. And of course, if you want more breakdowns of big ideas like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Thank you so much for hanging out and exploring this with me. I really hope it's given you a new way to look at your own potential. Until next time, keep learning.